Calm, what did I hear about Tony's mom? Kiara was talking about him in school.
Yeah, it looks like Alzheimer's.
Oh,
Artie asks Livia if she knows who he is, then reminds her, because he genuinely thinks she might be slipping into dementia, something she's been very deliberately presenting herself as having.
Arthur Bucco, warm and convivial host.
He visits her because, at the end of the day, Artie really is a warm and convivial guy. He's also her son's only real friend, and that old-school sense of loyalty and obligation matters to him. You wouldn't seriously hope or expect your friends not to visit your mom, right? Especially in that world.
Artie called.
Can't complain.
You want some coffee?
It's an old-school Italian thing. I was in the neighborhood, you show up, you bring food, you pay your respects, even if the person is toxic and everyone knows it. Artie's practically a saint in that regard. And honestly, Livia is one of the few people in the show who doesn't immediately try to screw him over in return.
You know what Jerry told me about her? She died.
She what?
She committed suicide. Isn't that awful?
The way the writers, and Chase especially, have Carmela casually tell Tony about Gloria's suicide is brilliant. The emotional bomb just drops mid-conversation, domestic small talk detonating an absolute landmine. It perfectly captures Tony's repression and the show's gift for brutal, mundane realism.
I remember that nice sales lady, Gloria Trillo. She gave me a ride home that day.
Carmela only knew Gloria as a nice sales lady who once gave her a ride, and that's what makes it hit harder. The scene is so ordinary and so well acted.
Her empathy over there. She hung herself.
Carmela in her, damn, there goes my BMW discount, but hey, I'm alive, mode, while taking off her jewelry. Tony pretending not to be affected.
Upward.
How's Gloria Trillo? She's still,
Us knowing exactly what went down with Gloria and Patsy the last time we saw her. Some fucked up shit. She said she didn't want to live anymore and followed through. At least she wasn't a liar like some other people we know. That quiet devastation is all over the show.
What kind of mental stuff would cause a backache?
For conversation's sake?
Absolutely. A lot of problems with his kid's school fund?
Secrets?
Another favorite is when Tony asks Melfi what could cause a backache. She explains a bit, then says, secrets. And Tony practically dies in his chair.
The shit that happens? Like we're puss. Stand up one day, FBI rat fuck the next.
He'd bullshitted himself for so long that Puss wasn't a rat, and in that instant, he knows he can't deny it anymore. Same with the Green Grove tapes. Tony walks in cocky, then has to listen to his own mother saying, it's like they don't even have a father now, and better cakey die than go on living that way. God damn. I just rewatched the Gloria scene, and when Carmela mentions her, Tony immediately turns over. His heart must have been racing. It reminded me of when my dumb ass got caught cheating. My girlfriend was super cheerful, making casual conversation, then suddenly started talking about the girl I cheated with, but not in a way that made it clear she knew. I kept a perfect poker face. Turns out she knew everything, and the cheerfulness was just the cover. She got my ass.
That rumor. And most Native Americans, they don't give a flying fuck. It's like knowing James Caan is an Italian.
Tiny details like this make me laugh every time. In the Columbus Day episode, when Tony's on the phone with Chief Doug and compares finding out Iron Eyes Cody isn't Native American to knowing James Caan isn't Italian.
What the fuck did he say about Iron Eyes Cody? He said Ruffy had it all fucked up. It don't mean nothing anyway, because it's like knowing James Caan isn't Italian.
Then later repeats it to Syl. Syl just stares at him for a long beat, slowly looks away, and grunts. I swear it feels like Syl is just then realizing James Caan isn't Italian, and his entire worldview collapses for a second before he forces himself to lock back in and keep talking. I don't even know if that's the intention, but just imagining it kills me. One of my top Sopranos funnies.
Can protest. You know, they're burning Columbus in effigy down there.
Same episode, Artie and the crew pull up to the anti-Columbus rally, and there's an effigy hanging. Artie goes, "That better not be Columbus up there," like it could be anybody else. Unreal. Syl forgetting it's Columbus Day on Columbus Day also slays me. I forgot it was a Monday.
She's stealing.
Who?
The Ditsoon. Oh, that beautiful plate that Aunt Septimia took from that restaurant in Rome.
Then there's Livia losing her mind, yelling, "She's stealing! Who? The Ditsoon who? That beautiful plate your Aunt Septimia took from the restaurant in Rome." Losing her mind over a plate that her own sister stole.
He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. Guy was an interior decorator.
His house looked like shit.
Paulie saying that guy was an interior decorator, and Chris replying that his apartment looked like shit will never not be funny.
Hear what I said, Tom? They're like an ad for a weight loss center.
You hear what he said, Tone? Hee hee hee.
I had business in Manhattan anyway.
Oh, not again.
I had business in Manhattan anyway, and Artie going, "Oh, not again," cracks me up every time.
My aunt used to go, "Col tempo la foglia, di gelso diventa senta."
And the scene at the old people's home where the woman quotes an Italian saying and the whole family just stares like, huh? While she stands there awkwardly? Perfect. These little moments are why I love the show so much. That therapy moment with Tony is one of the realest in the whole show.
The worst part, truthfully, is I gotta sit there with people who are hurt, bad. And I gotta have the long face and the sighing and the platitudes, but I don't feel it.
The worst part, truthfully, is I gotta sit there with people who are hurting. Bad. And I gotta have the long face, the sighing and the platitudes. But I don't feel it. Then that makes me feel like a hypocrite. And that makes me mad at them. That shit hits hard. It feels uncomfortably honest. And yeah, it makes you wonder if you're messed up for relating.
I find I have to be the sad clown, laughing on the outside.
I love how it twists the sad clown idea Tony always brings up. He really is a sad clown, but not the usual version. He's not pretending to be happy while he's miserable. He's pretending to be sad while he feels nothing. Crying on the outside, laughing on the inside.
I told my girl cousins I would never be a varsity athlete, and frankly...
A fat fuck of a sad clown who, by the way, never had the makings of a varsity athlete. Turns out it's not as easy being a sociopath as people think. I just watched this episode, and it was dark.
The twisted and demented psychos who kill people for pleasure.
Every time I try to find a shred of good in Tony, something happens and I'm right back to, nah, this dude is evil.
I say what your mother has, at the very least, is what we call borderline personality disorder.
At the very least, what Tony has looks like borderline personality disorder. Unstable relationships, affective instability, constant anxiety, a kind of joylessness. His internal fears are the only things that feel real. Everyone else is peripheral. There's no real love or compassion there, just splitting, bitterness, and conflict that poisons everyone around him.
Thank you, not an apology, nothing.
I'm realizing more than ever that these guys are just whiny children.
I was rude when you offered me to drink.
What's this here about Ralph Cifaretto? You refused to have a drink with you at the club?
I just got to the part where Ralph refuses a drink from Tony, and holy shit. These dudes are the most fragile, thin-skinned man babies alive. They're willing to kill each other over not accepting a drink.
The point is, Gary Cooper, the real Gary Cooper, or anybody named Cooper, never suffered like the Italians.
I know that's the point of the show, but every rewatch makes it clearer how much they all resemble high school girls. Wah, this guy disrespected me because he didn't fluff my pillow, so now I gotta whack him. Yeah? Maybe you're a flambe.
You mind?
Phil was the worst.
God.
Whacking a guy for eating off his plate after he literally said it was okay.
Still could have got hurt.
Doc showed a lack of respect.
It's honestly the best part of the show. You've got these hyper-masculine guys obsessed with honor and manliness, but behind the facade, they're just insecure little bitches.
The point is, Gary Cooper.
I didn't fully get it the first time around, but once you really analyze it, the mob mentality is genuinely brain dead.
These blacks.
What? I think I seen a couple of niggas running that way.
They complain about black people committing crimes while they make a living off crime themselves. They cry about small businesses dying while parasitically leeching off them. It's hilarious. That's what I love most about the show. So many of the conflicts are completely stupid and petty, not the romanticized mafia storylines you usually get from the genre.
Why are you making me do this, you fat fucking miserable piece of shit?
Tony's reaction to Pussy hits harder than anything that comes later, and that's the point. Pussy wasn't just another guy in the crew. He was the first real betrayal we see land squarely on Tony's soul.
Nowadays, no values. Guys today have no room for the penal experience.
Not some abstract business loss, not collateral damage in a war, but a personal, intimate collapse of trust.
My best friend, Pussy, has disappeared.
Pussy fled, came back, was given another chance, and still kept ratting.
Wow. Beautiful boat, Tony. I've been waiting 40 minutes.
Tony didn't just lose a friend. He was forced to execute him.
The morning of the day I got sick, I've been thinking.
Whatever faith Tony still had in this thing of ours, which he was already questioning as early as the pilot, died on that boat with Pussy. Christopher was never the same kind of Bond. He was a reclamation project, a surrogate son Tony kept trying and failing to fix. Bobby? Tony never truly respected him. He tolerated him, mocked him, used him, married into him. That's not love. Syl, meanwhile, didn't even die, and Tony's distance there reads less like indifference and more like avoidance. Tony gets paralyzed when guilt overwhelms him, and Syl's shooting was partly on his watch. Easier to stay away than face it. Pussy also wasn't exactly a childhood peer. He was older, more like a mentor when Tony was coming up. That dynamic matters. Killing Pussy meant killing a piece of his own origin story. After that, Tony grows jaded and resentful, waiting for everyone else to disappoint him too, because now he knows they will. By season 6, he's basically hollowed out. The betrayals don't shock him anymore. They just confirm what he already believes. That emotional burnout is why, by the end, he's not grieving losses. He's barely feeling anything at all. I don't buy that Carmine genuinely didn't know who Paulie was.
Not so much as what he didn't say.
Carmine is consistently shown to be a smart, careful guy.
Carmine's gonna position himself for maximum deniability.
That phone call with Tony where he didn't say nothing was a masterclass in CYA. So the idea that some guy just walks up to him at a wedding and starts talking about Johnny Sack and sensitive mob stuff, and Carmine is just going to openly acknowledge any of that is ridiculous.
Come on, hey. What are you doing here? I'm a guest.
No one introduces Paulie as a friend of ours. He just walks straight up to the boss of a New York family and blurts out, "Hey, you know your underboss was talking about criminal business involving me, right? Care to repeat that into this wire so Radio Shack can broadcast it on WRAT?" Of course Carmine is going to play dumb. He's not about to confirm that he discusses illegal matters with the underboss of one of the 5 families to some random guy at a wedding.
Your father was run over by a trolley, right?
That offhand remark about Paulie's dad getting run over by a trolley isn't just forgetfulness, it's a backhanded insult. Who says that to someone they just met? It serves 2 purposes. It reinforces the image of Carmine as a feeble, slightly clueless old man, while also mocking Paulie by reducing him to a punchline. The only noteworthy thing about you is that your father died in some absurd, old-timey accident. It's the same energy as a Don doesn't wear shorts. Quiet dominance disguised as folksy nonsense.
What's your name again?
Paulie Gualtieri. Jersey?
So yeah, I think Carmine knew who Paulie was, or at least knew he was a connected guy in the Jersey family. I don't think Johnny Sack was ever seriously trying to bring Paulie into New York, but Carmine almost certainly knew of him at some level. He just chose not to acknowledge it. Paulie, being Paulie, runs his mouth to the wrong guy at the wrong time, and Carmine decides to toy with him a bit while also protecting himself in case Paulie is wired. Thematically, the scene is about Paulie realizing he's been played. Johnny was snookering him for information the whole time, not grooming him for a move to New York. We spend a lot of time with Paulie, so he feels important to us, but in the larger picture, he's kind of a nobody on a glorified crew. Carmine barely respects Tony, let alone one of Tony's captains. He's running one of the actual 5 families and has far bigger concerns. It makes sense that Carmine wouldn't care enough to remember details about a Jersey capo if he ever bothered learning them at all. That's Johnny's job.
They're a glorified crew.
Carmine himself even says it, glorified crew. He didn't give a shit about New Jersey. At most, he probably knew there was a guy named Paulie in that crew somewhere and promptly forgot his last name 5 minutes later. I have to preface this by saying that The Sopranos has been my comfort series for years. I keep it on in the background, I throw it on when I'm stressed or low, and every rewatch gives me something new. I do the same thing with The Shield, The Wire, Deadwood, and Oz. All that to say, for the first time ever, I strongly dislike Paulie Gualtieri. He used to be my favorite by a country mile. I even felt sorry for him in Season 6 and Episode 3. And it suddenly hit me that, much like Hesh, Paulie has coasted on historical loyalty. He's predatory, especially with Chrissy in the extra take, hypersensitive about everything, deeply unempathetic, needy, and emotionally stunted. And this time around, there's nothing endearing about it. He just feels pathetic. I hate that this is how I see him now. It weirded me out because I wasn't looking for it. Is this maturity? Maybe the stuff that once read as quirky survivor now just reads as selfish and small. Watching the series again, especially alongside someone seeing it for the first time, really sealed it for me. Paulie is horrible. Sure, he has great one-liners early on, but as the show progresses, it becomes clear how much of a monster he is. He flies under the radar because he's rarely truly tested on loyalty.
Turns out she's not my aunt. Turns out she's my mother.
The way he treated Nucci when he found out the truth, leaking info to New York over HUD and a fat joke.
Ever. It was a homeless woman with a Daily News up her butt.
Mocking Caitlin to a drunk Chrissy.
He's a sick fuck. He was sniffing a fucking panty.
Sniffing Adriana's panties and acting like Chrissy's the problem. Killing Min Matrone. He's a gossiping little drama starter who mirrors loyalty to whoever he's talking to in the moment. And one of his biggest douche moments? When Tony was in a coma and he and Vito were annoyed about giving Carmela money to support the family. I think we're just maturing out of Paulie. Honestly, you could probably dislike the entire cast at some point. There are no true anti-heroes or moral gray areas. Everyone is bad.
I blame that Minnie Matrone. She's a malignant cunt.
But if you really need a starting point with Paulie, he strangled an old woman to death. That alone will do it. Rewatches hit different. Subscribe if yours are getting darker.